we need to constantly adapt and we constantly need to create. It's all about, change and being adaptive, facilitating people to motivate and inspire them to make changes, to make tweaks to their life. And a change can be small, a change can be big, but that's really where you make the difference in moving forward, right?
If you're making great digital work, prove it. The call for entries for the Lovey Awards is open. Enter by the 5th of August at lovyawards.com. Presented by the Webbies, the Lovey Awards was founded to honour the best of the internet in Europe. Think ad campaigns, digital marketing, games, social, immersive experiences, and podcasts like this one. Entering your work recognises the team, and winning proves that they're the best creative talent in Europe. Work is accepted across 7 languages: English, French, German, Spanish, Italian, Dutch, and Swedish. Join this symbol of the internet and creative excellence. Enter by the 5th of August at lovyawards.com. Hello and welcome to the Shiny New Object podcast. My name is Tom Ollerton. I'm the founder of Automated Creative, and this is a weekly show where I get to interview a very exciting and interesting person from the industry about what their vision for the future of the marketing and advertising industries are. And this week is no different. I'm on a call with Sally Voss, who is Executive Marketing Director, EMIA, at Hexagon Asset Lifecycle Intelligence Division. So Sally, thanks so much for joining us. Can you give the audience a bit of a background and overview on who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, I'm Sally indeed. Thanks for having me today. I'm currently working at Hexagon. Actually, I worked there quite a long time already, almost 25 years. Started there after I graduated and did a lot of different areas from sales development and marketing. And indeed, currently I'm heading up the EMIA marketing team for Hexagon's Asset Lifecycle Intelligence division. True. So
25 years. So you must be either like really, really, really good that they can't possibly get rid of you, or really bad and they can't find a way to get rid of you.
When I got hired, I really said, okay, well, 2 to 3 years max. And every, other year I got a new job and a new opportunity. So, still here, enjoying it.
Well, congratulations, man. That must be great to have such a fulfilling career in one place over such a long time. So in that 25 years, what new belief or behavior has helped your work-life balance?
So I think the thing that helped me a lot in, my quality of my work life has really been my work-life balance itself. If I look back, I'm from a person, I'm really a hard worker and I also enjoy working hard. So when people say, well, you shouldn't work too much, I was always like, well, if I enjoy what I do, why shouldn't I? And also being very, let's say focused on healthy food, being active, doing my sports. I always thought like I had a good balance, but I learned actually that it killed me a few times in the fact saying I didn't have a good balance. And especially with traveling about 80% of my time, I realized my work-life balance is not really that good because I didn't rest and sleep enough. And I didn't understand fully what balance meant. So this I've been working on a lot myself and also with my team and people around me. Because again, during COVID, if you saw, we all suddenly, I didn't have to travel and I thought, my life is now easy. I just have to work and I can be home. I don't have all this time for other things. But then again, that resting and sleeping was still something that I not doing. And I realized that that's really what helps me improve my quality of work if I do this well. So I continue to look at myself on the 4 pillars, like sleep, eat, move, and rest, and look how I'm balanced in all of these. And that's really helping me in what I do every day at work and at home and with my friends.
So all of those things make a lot of sense, right? No one's going to go, no, you shouldn't sleep, you shouldn't eat, you shouldn't move and you shouldn't rest. Like you're going to get like a thumbs up from almost everyone. But how much? Like, work is like, well, I'm going to work from I don't know, some people work from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m, or 10 hours or 7 hours, ideally. And that's sort of a tangible-ish thing. You know, you've got meetings going in the calendar, everyone could see you working, but eating, sleeping, resting, moving, how do you get the numbers right?
Yeah, it's a good question indeed, because I've been playing a lot with that. So I thought, for example, for me, I thought, well, I have to do my 8 hours of work because that's what we are told to do. And we have to have our 8 hours of sleep. But I also learned that we are all different as a person. So for me, I know very much that I have a need for 7 hours as a minimum. So I do actually track it. And if I do an average of 7 hours in the week, I know I'm good. With work, you know, if I enjoy what I'm doing, I can do more than 8, but I need to make sure that I do have some breaks in between and don't go back to back to back to back, which we have a tendency to do. So make sure that every few hours you have a break. It can be 15 minutes. You know, like I do meditate for 10 minutes, you know, in between, and I go again, and I'm such a better person again. So, you know, I wouldn't want to say it's 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of let's say work and an hour of exercise, but make sure that you do move every day. Make sure that you do take breaks during your work, and make sure that you do get sleep, let's say between 7 and 8, depending on who you are. And that you consider what you eat. I think if you just have those as a base, it's already a good start.
But I guess my struggle is always like, well, what happens when you want to just drink lots of wine and eat terrible food and have a good time with your friends till late at night? And all of those things go out of the window.
It's true. But you know what is nice? Because we're all human here, right? Nobody's perfect. Then, you know, the next day you just go for, you know, you recover, and the day after you pick it up again, you know, because that's the human side of it. You know, nobody is perfect in my view.
So what is your top marketing tip? 25 years in lots of different jobs in the same place. What is that bit of marketing advice that you share most often?
Yeah, thank you for asking that one. I was sort of doubting between two, because when you asked me that question, in my early career, my boss actually had two ones that he mentioned. One was choose your battles, and one was making the difference. And if I look, you know, what really helped me in my life and brought me a lot in my life is really making a difference, not only in business, but also in private life, because it's not only focusing just on results and adding value, but it's really about what you do to truly make a difference. And, you know, making a difference is that you cause actually change, you know, to be important in some way, you know, that you really create a significant effect, you know. So, and that goes along with don't be afraid to make mistakes, you know, so, and be open for new ideas. And still today, this is important, but also in the beginning of my career, it was nice for me that I didn't feel afraid of making mistakes. And I've always been suggesting new ideas, been surrounded by people that I could work with on new ideas. So breaking old thinking patterns, you know, thinking a bit reverse and getting fresh perspectives, because I think that's what we need, you know, some fresh eyes and sometimes stepping back and coming with something new. So, and to me, you know, new ideas and surrounded by people that make the difference is, where you do enjoy your life and make the difference for you as a person as well.
Well, I think you had like 6 different bits of advice there. Choose your battles, make the difference, make mistakes, bring fresh eyes and new ideas, and bring new people in. So you've got 4 or 5 there. So well done. All of those are great. So thanks for sharing and reminding us of those. This episode of the Shiny New Object podcast is brought to you in partnership with MadFest. Whether it's live in London or streamed online to the global marketing community, you can always expect a distinctive and daring blend of fast-paced content, startup innovation pitches, and unconventional entertainment from MadFest events. You'll find me causing trouble on stage, recording live versions of this podcast, and sharing a beer with the nicest and most influential people in marketing. Check it out at www.madfestlondon.com. So now your shiny new object, and we debated this for a while, where you got to was making people adaptive to change. So that makes sense to me, but I'd love to have you introduce that as a concept.
Yeah, it's you heard me already a little bit being passionate about making the difference, which also was about cause a change, right? So to me, I do believe that the world today, it's even more rapidly changing, and people are the key aspect, in life. I'm very passionate about that, but also people that are adaptive to change is really key within this whole environment, because we need to constantly adapt and we constantly need to create. If you see myself in what I am from a background I'm actually having a business degree in marketing and in business studies. But I'm also a certified coach and a talent professional and nutritionist. And in all these areas, I do see that whenever I work with people, it's all about, change and being adaptive and, so facilitating people to motivate and inspire them to make changes, to make tweaks to their life. And a change can be small, a change can be big. But, that's really where you make the difference in moving forward, right? So that's why also I think, people need to be adaptive to change. And it's my drive to let's say, motivate people to be more adaptive to change. If I look at it myself, since I was young, I worked in restaurants, bars, and clubs. And I remember that I moved to Haarlem for my studies. And then I worked at the beach. And there was actually a pub owner that saw me working at the beach. And he said, well, I really would like you to work in my bar, And I said to him, well, it's very nice of you to think about me, but your bar is actually pretty, sorry to say, it's quiet. It's a bit boring. I said, if you would like me to work there, I would really like to change a few things. I would really love to see how we can do things differently. And I said, I can write you a business plan, and if you approve it, we go for it. And so I made the plan. I changed quite a few things, and from adding a kitchen to adding live music and all different kinds of things in there. And after that, he was adaptive for the change, and, I could do it with him. And I hired people that were also open for it and adaptive to that change. And we run it successful for 3 years. So I think that's a nice way to show, how this whole change is, and we doubled our revenue, if even not more. It was a beautiful way, but also we had a lot of fun in going through that change, because it was constantly seeing what needs to be new. And then after that, when I was actually done with that, when I worked there for 3 years, I actually had to go abroad for a year to the UK to do my studies there, to my final year. And I came back the summer after to work at the beach for my last year before I was looking for my my job, actually, my real job for after studies. And I got interviewed by a few companies, and and two actually I was offered a job, and one was a pharmaceutical agency and a company, and the other one was Hexagon, which was then called Intergraph. But again, here I could see the difference. Actually, the pharmaceutical, I got a fixed contract. Actually, I did get actually more paid. Hexagon, I had a temporary contract. It was on pregnancy leave. But, it was the people and the mindset and the openness for change and new ideas that made me go there. And that also today made me, having a wonderful career at Hexagon. So that's also why today I do say, if I do hire new people, I always check and they say, what kind of profile are you looking for? And I say, it's not about, who you are, it's about would you want to make the difference, and are you adaptive to change? And I've been able to do great projects and great, activities with people at Hexagon to do this, but also outside of the company, because, the importance is for me to have the right people, be surrounded by the right people and have the right people in your life, business and private, because they influence, they make you happy, they make you do better choices, and also they help you in going through that change. And I see that I am very, very much passionate about people and change myself. And therefore, I also do really like to inspire, people to make a difference and be adaptive to change.
So going back to what you said earlier about sleep, eat, move and rest, it's kind of obvious, but hard to get right. And is anyone in an interview going to say they're not adaptive to change? I mean, I think I'm adaptive to change, but then I'm also human. And in a world where we've got lots of different things vying for our attention, be it Slack or WhatsApp or email or list all the things, that what we default to is delivering on tasks that don't have as much cognitive load. Right. So I'm going to send an email, Sally, cool. I'm not going to start reinventing a cool intro to an email. I'm just going, hi, Sally. Great to do the podcast with you the other day. I was thinking about X, Y, Z. Right. And so I like to think that I'm adaptive to change, but in reality, I'm always just looking for shortcuts. I'm always just thinking, right, well, how can I replicate what I did last time or that person did over there? Because I've got 9 million things to do and they've all got to be good. So how do you know if someone is actually adaptive to change?
Yeah, that's So there's one thing, by the way, that I do believe that therefore it's always good to have interviews in person, because I wouldn't ask the question, are you making a difference? You could say yes or no, right? Or are you adaptive to change? Because everybody would say yes, like you said, right? But I do believe by having an interview, by just asking questions, you can identify how the persons are behaving. Maybe it's also, some more experience. Maybe it was more something on trust. But I do believe that you can see if you're asking people saying, where would you like to be in 5 years? And what type of interest people have, if they just want to go traditional, or what did you do in your past? What project did you do that made you proud? You can ask tons of questions where you can really, in my view, quite easily identify saying, is this something because people are asked to do this, or are they really passionate about it? And to me, actually, when people have a passion about new ideas, etc., you can see that there is a drive from them and again, and then you can see that there's more adaptive to change. I think those are ways that I would identify it better.
And then, although we're running out of time, which is really frustrating, but what's the first steps on getting an organization or a team adaptive to change?
So, yeah, that's a good point as well. So for me, the first steps would really also be to make an environment that people feel good in. So as I mentioned before, I think people need to be able to make mistakes and not be afraid of it. So you need to have a good, culture around you and a good, let's say, vibe or environment to make sure that people trust and are not afraid to make mistakes, and also that people are open to share ideas. And, we've all had it, right? So I have this open door policy, and not only literally, but also saying I don't micromanage, but I also do like that people say, okay, this is what I would like you to achieve. It's a bit like what you do, saying these are the questions and you come up with what you would like to talk about. So I would do the same in project. What way would you like to do it? So I give them the environment to do it in their own way and come with new ideas. And whatever new idea it is, even if I think, not sure, I said, okay, let's work it out. Let's go and try it, and then we can see how it works, and then we can learn from it. So that openness versus that trust, being not afraid of making mistakes and the new idea, I think is key, in an organization to make it work.
Sally, I would love to carry on talking about this, but unfortunately we're at the end of the podcast now. So if someone wants to get in touch with you, where would you like them to do that? And what makes a great outreach to you?
I think LinkedIn is still a great way to get in touch with me. And I like it when people do a little bit more personalized outreach. So that means that they understand that there is a mutual interest. So if I get a message like that, you'll be sure you get an answer.
Fantastic. Sally, I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, just before you go, I'd really appreciate it if you could take the time to write a review of the Shiny New Object podcast on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, whatever it's called these days, or whichever podcast provider you use. We're an indie podcast, so it would go a long way for us if you could just share the word and give us a bit of a support on those channels. That'd just be fantastic. If you haven't got time, that's also cool. And yeah, if you could tell your colleagues about the podcast, and also, if possible, don't forget to subscribe. And I'd love to hear your feedback. If you'd like to speak on the podcast or be a guest, or you think I'm asking the wrong questions, anything, I'd be super interested to hear what you think. So please email me at tom@automatedcreative.net. That's TOM at, I'm not going to bother spelling it. Anyway, you'll work it out. Thanks so much.